Thank you, Ellie. This is a great pleasure, and I thank you all for being here this evening among all these great scientists and pharmaceutical and biotechnology people. First, Ellie is a great humanitarian. He has done great things as an individual. He spent time in a concentration camp and then left that camp with his family who survived and has carried on for many, many years, really making important contributions for humanism throughout the world, and he's been fabulous. He's done it on his own, and I thank him for that. And Ellie, I, on the other hand, have worked with a huge team when I was at Merck, and I was blessed with having marvelous people to work with. And so the contribution of ivermectin or Mectizan for river blindness is due to the terrific work of many people. But first I should acknowledge the selection committee, which is sitting here and you heard about, and at the time of importance of true transparency, I must admit that more than half of this committee are very close friends. So I thank you all. But within the organization, we had, of course, the great people in Merck Discovery, and the microbiologists and the chemists and the engineers who originally discovered the compound ivermectin and characterized it. And then that was followed by the people and the key person. There are two key people in the research organization, Dr. William Campbell and Dr. Mohammed Aziz. Bill Campbell is here in the audience. Bill, would you stand? Bill? I don't see you. Oh, there he is, back there. Bill was the key parasitologist who characterized the drug ivermectin and discovered what an incredibly potent drug it was for killing parasitic worms. And initially it was seen to be important for animal worms and not too important for human worms because it didn't work against tapeworm and a few other important human parasites. So it's put on the shelf. But later, after it went on the market for animal health, later Bill Campbell, on the basis of observations in horse parasites and microfilarial type of infections, predicted that this would work in river blindness. And he got together with Mohammed Aziz, Dr. Mohammed Aziz, who is a clinical research person in infectious diseases at Merck, who came to me, and the two of them came and explained river blindness and said that this drug, ivermectin, might work in river blindness. And so Mohammed went down to Dakar in Senegal and tested it in a few dozen patients. And what he did was find these people who were crawling with these microfilaria of onchocerciasis and were going blind. And it was evident that they were loaded with these parasitic worms. And he took a pinch of skin over the hip, and he looked under a microscope to count the worms, and he found 20 or 30 worms per pinch of skin. So these people were literally crawling with worms. And he gave half of them one dose of ivermectin, and came back in a month and took a pinch on the other side and looked again for these little worms, and they were all gone. Came back in 3 months and 6 months and 9 months. And anyway, the story, as you heard it earlier, this drug, when given one dose, was effective for an entire year. So we became very excited about it and started a clinical research program, knowing that the people who needed it were among the poorest people in the world. We carried out a full development program, and starting in 1981, by 1987 had finished the program in thousands of patients, largely in Africa, and showed that it was safe and effective. And we needed then to get it to the people. So it was filed for approval in France because people in Paris actually had river blindness because of French Africa. And while we expected the French to take a long time, which they usually did, they were very fast in approving. In the meantime, I was working with a group at Merck to determine how it would get to the patients. And we met very, very frequently to try to do this. And we met with governments, and we were trying to get governments to buy into it. We could not. And suddenly we heard that the French were going to approve the drug, and we did not have a plan. And so we got together quickly, and with a small group of executives at Merck, and we said, we've got to get the drug out to these patients. And among that group was Barry Cohen, and one of the few people of Merck who was here this evening. But that small group decided that the only way to do it was to contribute it, as you heard, to people free, to everyone, for as long as it was required. And Barry was key in that. He was head of the international business at Merck at that time. Barry, would you stand so people can see you? So we announced we would make it available, and then the question was, how would it be distributed, and who would do it? And we decided that an independent committee, which needed to be accepted by everyone, and we asked Bill Foege, who had led the program to eradicate smallpox, should lead this committee, and Bill took it on, and he chaired that committee for many, many years. And they started a program which would select the areas, villages, cities, countries, which would receive the drug, which would be able to track side effects. And the company then agreed to send the drugs completely free. And it started that in 1987. And the program continued to build. And fortunately, I had to step down in 1994, has been continued, and last year Merck treated free 69 million people for river blindness, and an additional 48 million people for lymphatic filariasis. And so it has done an incredible job in carrying out this program and preventing both blindness and elephantiasis. And so it has been a wonderful program. But even with Bill Foege and his Mectazan expert committee, we needed distribution. And here we had Bill Moores, John Moores and his wife Rebecca, who stepped up and said, we're looking for a cause for our new foundation. And they picked river blindness and built a river blindness foundation to do that. Now, key in all this distribution was President Jimmy Carter. And he learned about the disease through Bill Foege, who was executive director in the Carter Center at the time. And President Carter took it on himself to organize the Carter Center and to go around Africa. And he spent years doing this, dedicating his time to convincing people in Africa who were often suspicious of taking the drug because they were fearful of taking a drug for Africans that were not a drug that was not being taken by Americans. And so Jimmy Carter was really critical for that. He did a wonderful job, and he became a very good friend, as you can realize by that letter. And so we had one group after another, and of course, long after I was out of the company, my successor has continued the program. It has continued to build, and it is very possible that in parts of the world, this river blindness will be eradicated because it kills the microfilaria. The microfilaria are spread by the black fly. When you treat a region, the microfilaria disappear, the black flies have no source, and the disease disappears and is eradicated in that region. And there are parts of Latin America that will be eradicated. We'll have eradication this year. And so it is an incredible problem. So I just want to thank the Merck people here who are continuing the tradition and who received 2 prizes. I want to thank the people who are not here who participated in the program because it was a full company program. Everyone benefited from what the company did at that time. And I thank you all for being here, all of you who appreciate what the industry does and are willing to stand up for it. Thank you. Thank you.